Welcome. My name is Jenny Waltz, and today I am going to demonstrate how to enter a purchase order in our new financial management software, Internet Native Banner. Internet Native Banner, also known as INB, is a new financial management system that Calhoun has implemented this fall. INB replaces DataTel, our formal financial management system. Purchasing is a very important part of your job, and you will need to know how to enter a purchase order in the new system. At the conclusion of this demonstration, you will be able to locate the INB login, sign on to INB, access the purchase order form, and complete the four-step process to enter the purchase order. Essentially, there are 8 steps in the purchase order entry process. You will need access to INB on the local network via a computer, either a laptop or a desktop. You will need to log in to INB. You will need to access the purchase order entry form, and it's titled FPA REQN. You will type next to access the entry screen, and then you will complete the following steps. Complete the requester delivery information, complete the vendor information, complete the commodity accounting information, and complete the balancing completion information. This course will provide you with a basic understanding of how to enter a purchase order in INB, and you will have a greater understanding of the four-step process required to create the purchase order. There's also a reference guide that will be provided to you after the demonstration is complete. This reference guide, complete with screenshots shown here, will walk you step by step through all of the material covered today. You may wonder, where do you find Internet Native Banner? Internet Native Banner runs on Calhoun's local area network, and the web address is on the screen. You may want to add this link above to your favorites on the internet. That way it will be easy to locate each day. How do I enter INB? You will enter INB through the production database known as PROD, so you will click here to enter INB. In order to log in, you will need a username. That username will be the same 3 letters as what you use to access the email system First Class. Initially, your password will be your 6-digit date of birth. Once you are logged in, you can change your password. Once logged in, you will see the main menu screen for INB. To access the purchase order entry form, you will enter the letters FPA REQN in the Go To window and press Enter. To access a blank purchase order form, you will type Next in the Requisition entry window here. If you are making changes to an existing purchase order, you will enter the purchase order number in that same requisition window. Once you have made an entry in the window, you will press the Next box button, which is located right here. The first screen you will complete is the requester delivery information. There are 3 pieces of information that are required. The delivery date, which you enter here. Click on the calendar button and choose a date that is 2 weeks out from the entry date. The reason for this is that it could take up to 2 weeks for the purchase order to go through the approval process and be released. The next part of information that is required is the ship to. You will always use DEC, which means Decatur. And then the other piece that's required is the attention to. This is where you'll put in the person's name and department that the items should be delivered to. This is also where you will put if it's an alternate campus location than Decatur, such as Huntsville or the Alabama Center for the Arts. Although not required, the comments field can be used to tell the business office if the white and gold copies of the purchase orders should be returned to you instead of being mailed, and you would type those right there. Once you've completed the request or delivery information, you will move on to the next tab, which is vendor information. This is where you will enter the information related to the company that you are purchasing the items or services from. All of the vendors in Calhoun's system are identified by a C number. If you know the C number, you will enter it in this vendor window. If not, you can look up the vendor by using the drop-down arrow located to the right of the vendor window. Once selected, you will receive a question that will ask you if you want to type in the entity name or vendor maintenance. You will choose entity name. Once here, you will type the name of the vendor you are searching for in the last name window. It is important to remember that capitalization is required. Once you have entered this information, you will need to click on the query button, which is located between the question mark and X at the top, right here. Once you click on the query button, the results of the search will be displayed. At this point, once you have found the vendor, select it with your cursor and click on the Select button located next to the Back button on the top of the menu. It's right here. If you should want to retrieve a list of all vendors, don't type anything in the search box and just click on the Query button. This will retrieve all vendors, and you can page through the list until you find the vendor that you are looking for. Another way to search is with the use of a wildcard. The wildcard symbol is the % sign. For example, if you had typed in %OFF%, the system would retrieve all entries in the vendor list that contained OFF in the name. Then you would select the appropriate vendor from the list. Once the appropriate vendor has been selected, the system will automatically populate the vendor address. At this point, you are able to move on to the next tab, which is the commodity accounting information. On the commodity accounting tab, you will enter the items that you are purchasing. This information is entered in the description box. This field is limited to the number of characters that can be entered. If the descriptions require more, you can enter the additional information on another description page. This page is accessed by selecting the Options tab from the top menu, which is up here, and selecting Item Text. And this is an example. Once you get to where the item text is, you will continue to enter your description. When you're finished with that and are satisfied with what's here, you click the Save button, and then you go back to the main page. Next, you will enter the unit of measure in the UM box, and typically that would be EA for each. You will enter the quantity that you are purchasing and the unit price. You will then press the Tab button to extend the amounts over here. If you have multiple items to enter, you would go to the next line and repeat the process until you're finished. What you will do next is you will complete the vendor or the accounting information. So you will press the Next Block button, which is once again located here, and it will bring you down into this window where you will enter the budget code. This will take you to the budget entry portion, and the business office will be sending out the appropriate budget code information with explanations within the next several days. To properly enter the budget, you will be required to list the fund, the organization, the account number that you're purchasing from, and your program code. Once you have done that, then you will press the tab until the items carry on over here. Then you will press the Next Block button. And that will bring you to the next page, which is the Balancing Completion tab. On the Balancing Completion tab, you will want to be sure that all of the information is balanced in this status entry box. If the purchase order is balanced, you will complete the purchase order by clicking on the Complete button that is located over here. You will then be taken back to the main FPA REQN screen. The only place that will show you the purchase order requisition number is when you get back to this main screen. You must make sure that you look down here and it gives you the number, and be sure to write that down so that in the event that something changes and you need to go back in and modify the purchase order requisition, or if something needs to be changed on the business office side, you will have that number to help with retrieving that information. This has been a brief overview of the purchase order entry process. At this point, you should be comfortable in locating the INB login on Calhoun's local network, sign in to INB, locate the purchase order entry form, and complete the 4-step process required to complete the purchase order. A manual is being provided to walk you through each step in this process. Additionally, if you have questions, do not hesitate to contact me at any time. My extension is 2616. Thanks for participating in this training today.